if there's one thing in my life that completely helped me grow as a creative entrepreneur and just expand my creativity beyond belief, I would say it's called Changa. It's a smokable form of ayahuasca, and it's really popular in South America. Hasn't really hit popularity here in the US. I've heard people from California and Texas mention it because that's pretty much where it's imported from. Mexico is where I think I got mine from. But essentially, this smokable form of ayahuasca called Changa completely changed my life. And looking back, even in my content, I'm sure I could identify that's the day I smoked Changa because I will never forget it. It instantly changed my perception. And a good saying that I actually saw in a YouTube video yesterday is the greatest gift is being able to see what you can't unsee. And that has been my experience with Changa. Like, it's shown me so freaking much that I will never be able to forget it. And when I do forget it, stuff will happen in my reality and it triggers me to remember it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, dude. And then, but anyways, let's go to the first experience here. So the first time I smoked Changa, well, even heard about Changa, a friend of mine was telling me about it and I was like, dude, that sounds whack. Like, you can't smoke ayahuasca. And then I was like, you can only drink it. And he's like, no, it's the exact same. I've done both. And I was like, whatever. And at the time I was interested in sitting with ayahuasca. It was calling me. I could feel it. I was watching Aubrey Marcus and I was like, this sounds like what I need. So then one night comes around and we're all hanging out and he gets it out and I hear them getting ready to smoke it. So I'm like, dude, I got to do this. And I was scared as shit. Like, I was fearful, but it felt right? You know that feeling like when you're scared, but you're also like, oh yeah, this is it. This is going to change my life. And dude, I'm so glad I did it because it did change my life. And to the moment of, putting it in a bowl just like weed and lighting it, I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And he's like, it'll talk to you. And I was like, bro, it's not going to talk to me. Like, you're silly. And then I swear to God, I'm holding it and he's lighting it. As soon as I started inhaling, it started talking to me. And it's like, it was like, just inhale more, 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 more. And I'm inhaling and then and then it's like, hold. And I'm like, okay. And then I exhale and my reality changed instantly. And we're talking instantaneous. It's like, and we're sitting outside on somebody's porch and it's pitch dark out. We're in nature and the trees everything just lights up. And I'm like, whoa, that isn't exactly what I said. I'll tell you what I said here in a second, but everything just lights up. I'm seeing sacred geometry in the shadows. Like, it's very like tribal, very like Polynesian, triangles and circles and patterns, very sacred geometry, very like Mayan, Polynesian, tribal blended into just insane patterns. And I said it and it was the funniest moment of my life. I was like, holy fucking shit, this is life. This is everything. This is like everything I've ever imagined and known to be true. And they forever give me shit on that. But that was like, that excitement in that moment was one of the most unforgettable times of my life. And my creativity expanded like crazy after that. Like, just ideas that were coming in, thoughts, things I was doing, just endlessly started stacking. And I think I grew from like, this is a creative to like, here is a creative in about a week. And then I probably as a whole, I've sat with this probably, I would say 40 to 50 times total. And that would be every time that I ingested it by smoking it, right? And some days it would like tell me to do it 3 times. And then other days I'd sit with it once and it'd be like, don't come back. And it was the weirdest thing. And one time I did go back when it said not to, and I learned a lesson not to go back. But it just endlessly transformed my life and my creativity. It just expanded it beyond belief. And it just literally has been the best teacher in my life. And in future videos, I'll talk about some different lessons and perspectives that it's given me because the lessons just go on. Every lesson was different. Every time I sat with it was a whole new experience. And specifically in talking about creativity, one of the greatest lessons that the smokable form of ayahuasca or Changa taught me was how to view my work. Because as an artist, as a creative, and I'd say I do have perfectionist tendencies, which is something that I'm really trying to let go of, but the initial lesson that I learned that I was a perfectionist was with Changa. And I remember I was working on this edit. I had a retreat coming up. My camera had just gotten stolen. I just bought this brand new Canon. I had never shot in C-Log. And I went out one day and filmed in the worst light possible because I knew I'd be filming in that light for a retreat. So I wanted to test it in that light. And I went out and shot this stuff at an art museum here in Kansas City called the Nelson Atkins. And I shot this video. And I came back and was editing it and was just like tearing myself up. It was just like, this sucks. Like, you don't know what you're doing. You're going to suck in California. And it was just like beating myself up over an edit that I shot in the worst light possible to prepare for what I was going to shoot. And then I remember I was sitting outside that night and Changa was calling me. And when it calls you, like, you just get a sense. The way I'd put it is like your brain just fixates on it and it's like, I need to go get Changa. And then I'm like, no, this feels like a lesson. And then it was like, come smoke me. And I'm like, and then I disregarded it again. And then third time came and I was like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. So I remember and I was like, what do you want me to do? And it's literally like, the way to say it is like, it talks to you in your mind, but it's different from the voice that's typically in your mind. Anyways, it's like, smoke it and watch this video. And I was like, no, this sounds like a trap. And it's like, no, smoke it and watch this video. So I did. Dude, that forever changed my life on the perspective that I viewed my work. So as I'm watching it, the video that I hated on Changa, I'm watching it and I'm blown away. I'm like, this is epic. This is dope. This is perfect. Like, oh my God. Like, what am I so mad at? And the visuals on Changa are just insane. Imagine that during what I mentioned during the nighttime, during the daytime. But yeah, everything just blends together. It's perfect. And I remember watching it and was like, this is perfect. And as I'm like fading out of it, like, it was kind of like Pocahontas, like the wind's like, the leaves kind of scattering. And the intuitive thought that lands in my mind that I would say was Changa talking to me said, how are you going to view things in the world? Or it gave me the option to view things in the world. How are you going to view it? Are you going to view it as imperfect and things that you need to fix? Or are you going to view it as perfect and things you can amplify? And I will never forget that. Like, that sitting with Changa forever changed my life as a creative, because even as a perfectionist, as somebody who edits and endlessly puts out like top quality content that gets criticized or revised and so forth, like, it taught me to never view it as a state of lack, as imperfect. It taught me to view everything we create as perfect. The only thing that can blend it from perfect is our perception and the lies that we tell ourselves. And it endlessly put me in this mindset that what I create is perfect. And when I view it to edit it, I'm not looking for the mistakes to remove. I'm looking for the perfection to amplify and just shine its beauty. And that, yes, I think that's it. I think that's a good stopping point, because if you're a creative and you're struggling and you're stuck, or you need to grow, or you need to change, I would definitely encourage you to find Changa, the smokable form of ayahuasca, or to sit and drink ayahuasca. They're a little slightly different settings. You know, the smokable is about 10 to 15 minutes. The more you relax, the longer it lasts. And drinkable is about 4 to 6 hours. But as a whole, if you're a creative, one's going to call you, one will find you. If it calls you and you don't find it, it'll find you. I promise. It found me, and then the drinkable found me too. So definitely, guys, if you're a creative or a creative entrepreneur, just an entrepreneur, and you want to expand your creativity, what you know, what you can create, and you want to see something that you'll never forget and that'll change your life instantly, try ayahuasca. Whichever form you can find it. I definitely would recommend the smokable form called Changa over the drinkable, but whichever finds you will be best for you. Peace.